out there, the Ocoee River, and the wagons are backed up against the Ocoee River on one side and against the Kangaroo llama zebra field on the other side, so there's something cool out both sides of them. But the quickest ways to get here, if you're driving, you take 75 to get here. If you're flying, the closest airport is Chattanooga, but oftentimes it is more cost effective to fly into Atlanta. And but these are our newest baby kangaroos. These are maybe hip and hop, maybe tick and talk. If we do tick and talk, can it be T-I-K and T-O-K, or is that?
Yeah.
It can?
Yeah, but one is tick and the other one is talk.
Yeah, I deduced that.
That's good enough, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Hey, if you do want to bring your semi, you couldn't bring it here into the farm, but there are a couple large places, and I bet the damn deli would even let you park it there for a minute. And it wouldn't be far. You could either Uber, if you have a bike. I always carried a bike on my semi because I hated being stuck anywhere. And from the deli, I think it's only 1.5 miles over here. They want to know, are they pets, and why do we have all these weird animals in our kitchen?
We have weird animals in our kitchen because it's warm in here, and these two specifically are in the kitchen because they are on quarantine. They're babies and they need it to be warm. And baby kangaroos sleep for maybe 22 hours a day, and these are where they sleep. If you look at us different times, these bags get changed as often as they go potty in them, and we have a whole lot of these bags. So they hang on a doorknob, and then as the kangaroos get a little bigger, you change the knot height because they haven't learned to jump in yet. They pretty quickly will learn to jump into their bags head first, and it has to be high enough off the floor that they don't bonk their head because they go doo and they go in head first. We usually use a great big crate that is all wire, not to keep them shut in, but to have a place to hang the bags higher and higher up the crate as they get bigger. But right now there's a fennec fox living in the crate. And the quarantine is direct contact. We don't want them to be in direct contact with any other animals. And the sloth is up there and they are down here. And I will certainly be washing my hands before I go from touching the kangaroos to touching a sloth. And that'll be here momentarily. Flash's normal encounter time, and all of our sloths only do 2 encounters per day. Flash's encounter times are 10 o'clock and 10:30. And on the Sloth Keeper for a Day event, if you read on that online, you're going to find out that what that entails is everything that all of our sloth encounters do combined for twice as long. So if you added up the price of all of the other sloth encounters combined, that is the price of the Sloth Keeper for a Day. But the Sloth Keeper for a Day lasts for twice as long as all the other encounters put together, and you do more stuff. I'm gonna answer this real quick.
Mom.
Yeah. Hey, Donna.
Whew. Flash wants some food.
Yeah, maybe just
Flash. I did wash my hands. Flash, want some of this? Hey, buddy. Hello.
Hey, if I missed a question, go ahead and re-enter it, because sometimes there's so many comments that they go by really, really fast. So if I missed a question, I really apologize.
There's a big tortoise, if you guys didn't see it yet.
Yeah. The sloth's name is Flash, and he's 6. What's he eating? Looks like Flash is munching on a little zucchini. What happened to the kangaroo mom? She is still with the other kangaroos. So kangaroos really don't have an affinity for their young. They don't really care. So as soon as they're born and they're out hopping on their own, mom's like, peace out. Make sure you don't wreck the car. Is he Cajun? Nope, he's not Cajun. Vlad is originally from where? Vlad?
China.
He's not from China. Vlad is of a Ukrainian descent, and Vlad
From
is...
many generations ago, let me tell you, young bucks.
But Vlad is John's son, and he works here at the farm with us. He does a great job, and I am impressed with Vlad's new outfit. And he's got warm boots for his feet so they
Check
don't
the
freeze
hat
in the
out.
snow.
They gotta check the hat
He
out.
really likes his hat, guys. Look at this. It says, risk it for the brisket.
Yeah, you gotta risk it to get a brisket. You can't get a brisket if you don't risk it for it. Alright. I gotta check my shirt out.
Yeah.
Then jeans.
How did Flash get up there? So if you see that other white door right there beside him, that's his main enclosure, okay? So this is not where Flash lives. So when we open that door, he is ready to come out. He was ready at 9:46 this morning. And John, how many years did that take you for him to come down and be ready to feed?
So, Flash came to us from, and I'm just washing my hands quick here because I'm about to be messing with Flash from the quarantine kangaroos. So Flash came to us not from the breeder we get our babies from. He came to us from a guy that breeds for zoos. So he was not people oriented when he came to us. So it took a solid year to get to where he would eat from my hand, and another several months until he would eat from guest hands. Hey.
So Flash is usually eating green beans, squash, zucchini, sweet potato, and occasionally gets a little bit of fruit. But we really try to monitor the fruit really carefully because that fruit starts to promote bacterial growth. So their digestive process is a lot different from ours. So when we're digesting food, we use an enzymatic process. Sloths use a bacterial process, and when they're in the wild, they're having...
Step off camera.
So when they're in the wild, guys, and they come down and they use the bathroom only once a week, if you can believe that. When they come down every week, 7 to 10 days, they come down, they do their little potty dance, they kind of shake it. The sloth moth will actually come up onto their fur, and then when they're grooming themselves, all that bacteria that they're getting, and then they ingest it, it helps them to actually digest the food. So it's a bacterial process. So that's the reason that we monitor their food intake so carefully. Because if we gave them too much sugar, their poop would be runny.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. His favorite was green beans.
That is a turtle. Well, technically a tortoise, and that's a sulcata tortoise. So we have two sulcatas, Franklin and Fiona. And then there are two babies, guys, and they are so cute. They're about the size of a silver dollar, and they're just the cutest little things ever. Looks like Vlad just fed him some squash. And this is one of the experiences that you come and do here. So if you book the Sloth Encounter, that would be with Flash. We also, if you wanted to cuddle Zoe, you have that option. And then we also have the same thing with Dash. Now what's really awesome that we just opened up is Sloth Keeper for a day. So if you want to spend like 3 hours with sloths, you can come here and do that. And it's amazing, guys. I feel like my new goal is to see if I can trip John with all my new tripods.
Shouldn't be hard.
If you love sloths, you found the right channel. Sloths, kangaroos. Oh wait, and we have another 125 animals. There's something here awesome to do for everybody, guys. And if you have somebody that's not into animals, they can go down to the river and fish. They can go take a drive. There's a glider port up the road that's awesome. There's rafting, there's kayaking, there's mountain biking, there's hiking, there's waterfalls. I'm not gonna drone on for hours on all the awesome stuff there is to do. But there is stuff up here that you could spend all summer and maybe get half of it.
Especially if you hike.
Yeah, if you hike, and they're not long hikes. These are easy short hikes. Some of them are a little steep to get up to some amazing views, but there's some great ones up at the Hiwassee. You can watch the sunset and sunrise, and it is beautiful. So the Hiwassee actually starts in Georgia. Same thing with the Ocoee River. When the Ocoee River starts in Georgia, though, it is actually called the Toccoa River. The Toccoa River flows into the Blue Ridge Lake, exits from there, and then when the Toccoa River crosses into Tennessee is when it changes its name, well, we change its name, to the Ocoee River. Great options for lots of stuff to do around here, guys.
Another great thing about most of those outdoor activities is they are free.
Yep.
If you go hike Benton Falls, total cost involved in that is $3 to park your car.
Yep. And if you really want to feel the burn, you can hike from the bottom, guys. There's a fall called Rainbow Falls. You can park at the base of Chilhowee, and it really gorges up. It's really tight and narrow, and it is beautiful. It feels like a scene from like the Pacific Northwest. It's amazing. Did a couple of the hikes in the snow, guys. Fort Mountain is just down the road in Georgia, and that's really cool because it has basically a huge stone ring, right? It's like a little mini, what's the big stone circle? Stonehenge, right? So they have a lot of archaeological remains up there. You hike around, there's a huge fire tower that was actually built in 1935 by the CCC Corps. Beautiful, beautiful area. And that's only about 30 minutes south of us. Tons of stuff to do. I agree. This is better than Disney World. And here's the thing, too. You know the crowds that you get at Disney World? That's not going to happen here. This is a gated farm, 30-acre farm, so people aren't just coming willy-nilly onto the farm whenever they want. From Pikeville, Tennessee. I'm not sure where Pikeville is. Where is Pikeville? Is it towards Knoxville or Nashville? Guys, I went ahead and turned on our other channels, so we're live still on TikTok on Sloths and Kangaroos, and we're live on YouTube under Ocoee Riverside Farm, Knoxville. So from Knoxville, you're maybe an hour, hour and a half at the most. We're right in between Knoxville and Chattanooga. If you want a pretty drive, I would drive down 411, but as you know, don't speed on 411 or you'll be donating some of your money to the local municipalities. Nashville, you're right down the road. Fly or drive, we'll see you soon.
No, you wouldn't fly from Nashville. I mean, drive 2 to 3 hours from Nashville. Or...
Was that Curry River? What's Curry River? Kathy, I'm not sure what Curry River is. I'm going to let John take over talking while he feeds Flash here.
So guys, this is Flash. Flash is our oldest sloth. He's our biggest sloth. Flash is a two-toed sloth. All of our sloths here are two-toed sloths. And let me also introduce Vladek. This is my son, Vladek. Vladek is in his 20s. He's on leave from Volkswagen home to help with the family farm. And if you ever wanted to meet a tough person, come out and talk to Vladek. He's basically indestructible.
I wouldn't go that. No, don't give nobody ideas.
Yeah.
I'm a friendly guy.
Well, Vladek, so have you heard about the bear?
No.
So I was in the Rhea house yesterday, and there's this massive pile of dung in there.
Oh.
And I took a picture of it and I sent it to Angelo, and I knew what I thought it looked like, but I wanted to know what the ranger thought it looked like. And this is what I'm looking at in there. So what do you think that is?
Did they say it was bear?
Bear. Inside of the Rhea house.
Angelo is a park ranger, by the way, awesome guy.
Which is also Ellie's father. And so I said, but it's inside of the Rhea house and the Rheas are not dead. And he says, around here, bears are almost exclusively herbivores. They almost never eat meat. So it doesn't surprise him that a bear would get into a snuggly place with deep straw and 3.5 walls on it to stay out of the cold and not eat the birds. Because there's no other way for anything to poop berries out there. Rays don't get out and eat berries, and even if the cows got through there, they don't have berries. So that was pretty interesting. I'm like, Donna says, how did the Rays survive, I guess? And I said, I don't know, maybe they were like, whew, big fluffy thing to snuggle with. So all of our sloths here are two-toed sloths. They call them two-toed because they have 2 fingers on the front feet right here. Some places also call them 2-fingered instead of 2-toed. All sloths have 3 toes on the back feet. 2-toed have 2 on the front, 3-toed have 3 on the front. Some places are starting to call them 2-fingered and 3-fingered because it is more like they have 3 fingers for 2 fingers than toes, because these work like hands. Some other differences between 2-toed and 3-toed sloths: they have a different number of vertebrae in their cervical spine. A 3-toed has more, a 2-toed has fewer. So the 3-toed turns its head 270 around like an owl would. A 2-toed sloth has no tail, a 3-toed sloth has a tail. So all those extra vertebrae that the 3-toed has in its cervical spine and in its tail are between the hips and shoulders of the 3-toed sloth. Of the 2-toed sloth. So the 2-toed, if this is his shoulders and this is his hips, he's going to turn them till they're basically 180 from each other like this. So the 2-toed is very much like a slinky in his body motions. The 3-toed is more like an owl. And this guy is so flexible. As you see, he can just turn right around there to get the food. And his shoulders and his hips are nearly 180 apart right there. That helps him a lot if he falls out of the trees to be slinky-like. Sloth can generally survive a 100-foot drop out of a tree all the way from the ceiling, the canopy of the rainforest, all the way to the floor of the rainforest. Hey buddy, we still got more. Sloths. So when we are doing sloth encounters, people could look at this and go like, oh, I want a sloth. And since we don't have any people here on encounter today, I was going to take a minute to talk about that. It's not a good idea to buy a sloth. These guys, we put hours and hours a day into our sloths, into sloths being people-oriented and friendly. We put tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars into these environments where the sloths live to keep them the right temperature, the right humidity. We get our sloths from reputable, ethical, long-term breeders who have been breeding captive-bred sloths for decades. These are not wild-caught animals, but the Sloth Conservancy, who we do support, if you come out on the Sloth Encounter, you're actually going to get a Sloth Conservancy bracelet that will let you have the tracking information live on a particular sloth in Costa Rica. But they frown on some of the sloth encounters in the U.S. specifically because they say it makes it look like it's a good idea to keep a sloth as a pet, and that could encourage the trade, the unethical trade of sloths that are caught from the wild to be made into pets. We do not support that. We do not encourage that. And I could go on for a while telling you the 100 reasons that is just a terrible idea, not only for the sloth, but for you as well. But our sloths here are not wild caught. Our sloths are multiple generations captive bred. And so it is very different than having a sloth from the wild. So similarly, if you have your house cat that was born a kitten into a family environment, came to you as a kitten, it's lived its whole life in your house with you, and you release it like some people think should be done, you took that little house pet kitten and threw it out into the forest, its life is going to be dramatically short. And if you similarly brought a feral cat out of the forest and tried to have it live at peace with your family, it's going to be ugly. That is kind of the same way with a wild-caught sloth versus a captive-bred sloth. So they say that some of these places tell you that sloths hate to be petted. Well, go try to pet a white-tailed deer out in the forest and see how that works out for you. I mean, it's just the difference between wild and captive-bred. But today I was going to talk a little bit about our new Sloth Keeper for a Day program, and it's going to be a very short talk because my sweet darling was pointing out to me that I don't really know everything the Sloth Keeper for a Day program entails just yet, because it just went live on the website last night, and she has done a great deal of work to make this a wonderful program, and she does not want me to say things that are not accurate, which maybe I've done once or twice in the past. But so anyway, the Sloth Keeper for a Day program, just look at it online. It just went live last night. It is going to be the most exclusive program that we do here. It will only run once per day. It will not run every day of the week, and it will only, you will only be able to sign up for 1 or 2 people. That's it. And you are going to essentially spend the day with the sloth. Well, you're going to spend hours with the Sloth Keeper. I don't know for sure what the hours are on that. I believe it's 3 hours. And yeah, that's how they go. Sure enough. Let them see on camera how a kangaroo likes to be in a bag. I can't touch him because I'm doing the sloth right now.
All tucked in.
Those kangaroos are not likely to sleep until it's time for their afternoon bottle. So they probably will sleep for about the next 3 to 4 hours. Just absolutely zonked out. So the Sloth Keeper for a Day program, you are going to be having the most direct interaction that anyone ever has with any of our sloths. You will be under the direct supervision of one of our sloth keepers here on the farm, and you will do everything that is entailed in any of the encounters, plus more. You'll get a Sloth Keeper t-shirt, you'll get a Sloth Keeper bracelet. It's going to be one of these bracelets that allows you to track a live sloth in Costa Rica, see how they move around in the wild. And it's going to be a pretty cool program, but the access to it is extremely limited. If this is something that you want to do, I would suggest that you would go ahead and make your plans to book it. And I don't know for how long we will run that program either. I am sure that it will run through the months of January and February. After that, we'll just have to see what the public response is to it, and how the people like it and how the sloths like it. So yeah, our kangaroo's getting himself all comfy there. What's doing there, Bubba?
They really like the Dalmatian on the kangaroo bag. And they want to know, how strong is a kangaroo tail?
They're very strong. So an adult male kangaroo can support its full body weight on its tail while it delivers a kick or a blow to its opponent. We're super careful about the quarantine here. I just touched the kangaroo's bag, so I gotta wash my hands before I can go back to the sloth. And also, because we don't have any guests here today, do you want to do a little bit of extra showing where the sloth actually lives?
Yeah, we did that this morning.
Oh, you already did that?
Yeah, we'll do it again once he goes in, and then I guess we're gonna probably feed Zoe in a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think her food is in the house right now. Let me look.
Want me to go get it?
Because I think I used
because
all
that'll
the
be-
rice yesterday, or
Let
most
me
of
get
it.
Yeah, if you
Goodbye.
get her food, then we'll do Zoe next, and then Vladik, you and I are gonna work on large animals for a while.
Okay.
Guys, Vlad is going up to get the food for Zoe. And John, what is that food that he's going to get?
So Zoe is right now still on her baby diet. Her baby diet is long grain rice with some dog food dissolved into it for a little bit more protein and some sweet potato shredded in it for fiber. All right, so you're gonna see the way that Flash goes back into his room now. So when his encounters for the day are done and his belly is full, he comes over here and he goes to sleep. His diet is extremely carefully maintained. He gets 7 ounces of fruit and veggies in the morning, and then he has free choice on his leaves throughout the day. But right now what he's going to do is go into his room, and then he is going to go up to his hammock, and he's going to curl up and take a nice long nap for about the next 3 or 4 hours. But sometimes he has 1 encounter, sometimes he has 2. So he's walking around right now going, so are there more people? What are we doing here? Hey buddy. Good morning, Flash. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, he's
John, a lot of people.
I am Flash's person. Flash has been here for 3.5 years, going on 4 years, I think. And I have been one-on-one with this sloth for an hour plus a day, all but about 20 days in those 3.5, 4 years. So I am 100% his person. He's perfectly comfortable coming right up to me, and he'll put his face against my face, he'll lay his shoulder against my shoulder, he'll run his claws through my hair like this when I don't have a hat on. But he has never made any move to move onto my body, so that means it's not what he's comfortable with. You want me to grab one?
No, I got it.
You got them both.
I'm trying to see if he's
well,
gonna
I
decide.
guess
Yeah.
he's staying out. I thought he was going in, but he's like, are we still hanging out or what, brother? But this sloth has never made any move to move onto my body, so that means that it is not something that he is comfortable and want to do. So that's fine. He can interact with us on the level that he is comfortable with. And since there is not an encounter going on right now, I'm happy to take some Q&A. If anybody had a question, you can shoot them out.
How old is the tortoise? Does the sloth like to be touched?
The tortoise, this one is the boy, the girl is in there. I don't know why he's out here, I guess he just walked out here. The boy is about 15 years old, the girl is about 20 years old. They both weigh plus or minus 80 pounds. I haven't weighed them recently. And I guess Flash is going up now. And yes, the sloth likes to be touched. He doesn't like to be scratched, and he doesn't like to be touched on the belly side. Flash's roommate is a 3-banded armadillo, which is here. Hey, Baku. His name is Bakugan, because he's like a Bakugan toy that he rolls up into a ball like that. That's his head, that's his tail. And when you tip him over the other way, he comes out. Hey, bud.
How long do sloths live? Is he curious about the armadillo?
Sloths in the wild, they say live for around 20 years, but sloths are prey animals, not predator animals. So the sloth, their normal cause of death in the wild is being caught by a predator when they come down to go to the bathroom, generally speaking. And in the wild, in captivity, like many prey animals, they live much, much longer than they do in the wild. So in captivity, they're known to live 50 years.
What temperature is it in that room, and can people just watch our lives daily, or should they come visit?
So the sloth's room is 78 to 80 degrees and around 50% relative humidity. And it is not practical for everyone to come and visit. We have had people in the last 365 days here from 19 different countries. We do have people that fly here from all over the world to come and do the events that we do here, because you genuinely cannot do these in a whole lot of different places. And so if you can come here, you know, it's kind of like anything else that you watch on TV. In person, it's different than watching it on TV. But if it is not practical for you to come here for, you know, time reasons or financial reasons, please do watch us online. We try to give you some entertainment combined with some information. But if you're able to come, it is a lifetime experience. Some years ago, as I was taking clothes with tags still on them to Goodwill and looking at toys that never came out of the box, we decided that we were not going to just keep buying things and stuff for ourselves and for our children, and we started focusing a lot more on buying or making memories with our kids, and that is one of the two primary focuses of this business. One is to glorify our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in everything we do and say, and two is to have a quiet, relaxed place where people can make lifetime memories with their own family and friends, doing things that you really can't do other places. And we work very hard at it, and we try to provide you with the best possible experience when you come here. So we hope to see a lot of people out here. Last year I think we had 37 states and 17 countries that came. This year we are on pace to be very, very far ahead of that.
How long do they live? How old is that tortoise? Where are we?
We are in Benton, Tennessee, between Knoxville and Chattanooga, closer to Chattanooga than Knoxville a little bit. We are on the Ocoee River, which is the place where they had the whitewater rafting events for the 96 Olympics. There are about 500,000 people a year that go down that river 6 at a time in whitewater rafts. If you're coming here to whitewater raft, it's a great way to make this a 3-day trip instead of a drive all day to get here, raft, and drive all day to get back home. So it's a great thing to do if you are here to raft. But if you are coming here during rafting season, it might be extremely difficult to make a reservation. It is an extremely popular place to come. So if your interest is more in the animals than it is in the rafting, you could save a little bit of money. Our rates are a little bit lower in the off season. Particularly right now, our wagons are discounted down to $99 a night for January and February. They are 4-season wagons. They are fully heated and cooled. So you can save some money coming here in the off season of rafting. But we do our animal events here 365 days out of the year. What? No, sorry, that's not true. We do our animal events here. There is lodging here 365 days a year. We do our animal events Monday through Saturday. We don't ever do animal events on Sundays. Sundays are the people and the animals' day of rest. And we don't do, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Day, such as that. But barring that, yes, we are open for 6 days out of the week. And open meaning you can sign up for events on 6 days out of the week. There is never a time that you can just show up at the gate and come on in. We don't have general admission. You sign up for a particular event at a particular day and time and come on out and see us. All right, so Vladik just got us Zoe's food, so the next thing we're gonna do is feed Zoe. Zoe is behind the other door right here. And we are going to go into Zoe's room and give her her breakfast. And you'll see the difference between a sloth that was raised from birth to be oriented to people and held by people versus Splash, who was not.
What does he feel like, Vlad?
He's very, very tough. Tough, like armored tough. Like a really hard plastic.
Yeah. So that exterior that you guys are seeing, it doesn't feel like a shell. It's actually warm. So that's his skin. And if you get really, really close, you can see the hairs growing. So see that? It's really cool. So sloths, and then this 3-banded armadillo, and then also giant anteaters. They're all related. So those are all Zothorans. And the reason they have that designation is it means basically flexible, or their ability to curl up on themselves. We're working on getting a little bit of a
tail.
Yeah, see his tail?
Little spikes on it.
And that's so he can really curl in. All right, I'm gonna swing forward, that way I can get behind that door as we open it.
Zoe is asleep right now. We are gonna see her wake up and greet the day. and people. They what? Probably one of the bathhouse that's on her list.
Guys, this is baby Zoe. Give me just a minute. And sometimes hey, do we do internships? So we are working on setting up that program because we are not a nonprofit. There are certain kinds of rules that we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing about it. So we are working on getting more programs like that set up. But kind of what happened is I started helping them out a lot with the social media, and then we got really, really busy. So we're working on doing all that. This summer we did have a program because Tennessee had this amazing program where they basically were encouraging all businesses to have internships. I'm gonna set this right here while we kind of get ready. You're in Costa Rica, awesome. I stayed in Costa Rica for a couple months. Stayed in Terrialba, hung out in the Ravinazon, the Bahi, and it's beautiful. What happens if the animals outlive you? Well, I can guarantee you those tortoises will outlive us. It's sad to say, but the sloths will probably outlive us. They probably will outlive John. The record, I believe, is Jan and Paula in Germany, and they made it to 52 and 54 years old, so pretty amazing. But that means Vlad, who's nice and a lot younger than us, he's only just 24, they'll be taken care of. We make sure that all the animals are taken care of. So are they gonna outlive us? Yes, they're gonna outlive us, but they're gonna be taken care of. They asked, what happens if the animals outlive us? And I said, well, they will be taken care of. I said, luckily Vlad's 24.
Michael's 20.
There you go. Lots of people younger than us. Guys, so we're getting ready to do a feeding with baby Zoe. I just was backing the cameras out so that way John has enough space so we're not all on top of each other. The tortoise name. So we have Franklin and Fiona. Who's right there on the bottom is Fiona. And the other day I learned that you can basically tell that fork up underneath them, and that designates whether they're a male or female. Aw, that's sweet that the turtles are in your wheel. What kind of turtles do you have? These are sulcata tortoises. Zoe is 1. She is a 2-fingered sloth, and her birthday was December 16th.
Oh, good girl. Come to see me, baby. Good morning, Zoe. Oh, how's that big girl? I should weigh her.
New Hampshire. You guys have some beautiful mountains up there. Mount Washington was one of the most interesting things you can do. I wanted to go do it because it said that more people die on Mount Washington than on Everest. So I went and climbed it in February in the snow. I do not advise it unless you like to possibly die.
You could have get it in June in the snow.
Well, exactly. So imagine how great it was in January.
Yeah. That's what, when you're doing Appalachian Trail, they say that the White Mountains be prepared because storms can come from nowhere and can be massive and vicious, and it can go from bright sunshine to life-threatening in an instant.
That's exactly what happened. We almost summited, and as soon as you see clouds coming in, know that by the time you set up your tent, you're going to be covered. And we set up dead men, and what dead men are is you take your stuff sacks, you fill them up with snow, and you bury that underneath the snow, and that's how you stake your tent down. So by the time all 3 of us were inside of a tent, the winds were holding at 60, 70 miles an hour and gusting to over 80. In the morning, they were about the same, so when we stood up and checked the edge of the cliff, you could lean your body all the way out, and it would just hold you. It was a good, exciting time.
So I guess when you decide to hike out and the cliff is gonna hold you, the first time you're like, I wonder if it'll hold me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, not this kid.
Younger and not as smart. They want to know, are the sloths slimy?
Slimy?
That's
I can see why they asked that. In the wild, they have moss and algae that grows all in their fur, and so I can see why someone would ask that. But no, they're not slimy. Ours do not have the biome in their fur, such as a wild sloth would. And sorry, my insurance man. So no, they're not slimy. Actually, people often remark that they're softer than they imagine that they might be. So give her a minute to wake up here, and then we're going to feed her breakfast. But this is Zoe. Zoe also is a two-toed sloth. If you are looking back through some of our popular videos, this is the one that you see greeting us on return from a trip. What's
It's Baku.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be Franklin, based on the noise level. So this is the one that was online greeting Donna on return from a long trip. Donna has probably spent, I would say, 8 hours a day for a better part of 8 months. So 30 times 8, 240 times 8, 1600-ish. I would say that Donna has held this sloth in her lap for something on the order of 2,000 hours. And so Donna is very much her person, but she likes everyone.
Hey,
If you come here to visit, they like to be petted like this. Super, super slow. They don't like to be scratched like this. They don't like to be rubbed like that. They don't like their fur petted the wrong direction. They just like to chill and be slow. And if you can't see her from this side, but she's sitting here with her eyes just like barely a slit open going, life is good.
No, we do not have any capybaras.
Capybaras are on the list of animals that we may eventually get, but any animal that comes here, there is a significant amount of research and training and building them an environment. Before we bring animals here, it's not at all a haphazard thing. Every animal that is on this farm is intended to be appropriate for direct guest interaction. So we don't just willy-nilly bring animals here and then let people interact with them the way that we do.
Do they have a bathing routine?
No. Sloths groom themselves. When they're babies, they sometimes make a mess of themselves when they go to the restroom. If they do that, we bathe them. Other than that, they groom themselves.
And what state are we in?
We are in Benton, Tennessee, not Benton, Florida, not Polk County, Florida. We're in Benton, Tennessee, somewhere between, answering text.
Hey guys, we're
Partway between Chattanooga and Knoxville.
while John's working on that, I'll go ahead and answer some more of your questions. We will see her face in just a minute. We are located in Benton, Tennessee, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville, and we're right on the banks of the Ocoee River. She is 1 year old. Her birthday was December 16th, and you guys can come here and do this. This is just one of the encounters that we have, and we just opened up Sloth Keeper for the day. It's a 3-hour experience, and you get to be with all of the sloths. You get to do everything that you would do if you booked each one, but you get even more. You get a tracking bracelet. All the details are on the website. Go to OcoeeRiversideFarm.com. Also, if you're looking at the lodging and you don't see a price, you want to select the date that you want, and then the price for those days will show up. Right now, the chuck wagon and the bandwagon are $99 a night, which is a deal. And here's the thing, guys. If you're staying on the farm with lodging, you get 20% off of your experiences. The only ones that you're not going to get that off is the Sloth Keeper for the day, Cuddle with Dash, and I believe one of the horse rides. but it is a great economical way to stay here. Also, at the Camel Condo, it holds up to 10 people. And we're getting ready to feed Zoe some rice here.
All right, are you ready for your breakfast, baby?
Poor John got the uncomfortable chair.
There we go, baby. So Zoe is eating a mixture of long grain rice with some high quality dog food, a little bit that is dissolved and then mixed into it for some nutrients that are not in rice, and then with some sweet potatoes shredded into it for fiber. And then her snacks through the day are spinach leaves. Baby spinach leaves. Some people have asked where we get our food for our animals, and we get them at the same grocery store you get your food. So all the fruits and veggies and rice and stuff like that that you see our animals eat comes pretty much from Food City here in our hometown. And if you're staying here, the Food City is only, 2 miles from here? So we do not have a restaurant on the property. There are a number of restaurants nearby, but we don't have a restaurant on property. You can cook for yourself while you're here. You don't have to pack all your food. Food City, which is a brand new, big, beautiful grocery store, is only 2 miles from here.
Do they go to the vet? I think we have a good vet.
The vet comes to us. So our vet is John Higdon Large Animal Services. And whenever I get a new animal, John gets a new book. And but we don't rely strictly on John's personal knowledge, neither does John. John is in a close relationship with the University of Tennessee Vet School. And so if we need additional resources, we can contact the University of Tennessee Veterinary School. They do have a 24-hour phone line if we need any other information. But our vet is who makes that call. I don't attempt to make vet determinations myself. And then specific to the sloths, the breeder who bred Zoe and Dash is a doctor of veterinary medicine. And as far as I know, there's no one on earth that knows more about a sloth than he. I don't name his name because he is a very private place and doesn't want people showing up or calling.
Some people had some questions of, are they rescues? And they kind of wondering about all the animals, and I think you touched that on a little bit. But
our animals are not rescues, with the exception of a couple that came here before we were a federally licensed facility. That would be our 2 pot-bellied pigs. Those were rescues. Otherwise, the animals we get, we are very carefully selecting animals. We care about other animals. We would love to help with people that need animals to help find a home. We're happy to provide people with other numbers of places that may rescue animals, but we don't. It is too much of a problem for quarantine issues. It is too much of a problem for animal behavior issues. So we don't do that.
guys, we really appreciate everybody following us and liking and all the shares. That really, really helps out. We do not think that TikTok will get banned, but make sure that you go ahead and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. I think we're on Pinterest, Twitch. We try to go live almost every day. Sometimes at night you'll notice that we go live on some of our other channels. Those are just memories that we're rebroadcasting so that way you guys can watch everything. And like John was saying, part of the reason that we don't have that many rescues is we want to feel comfortable with guests doing the same encounter. And we want the animals to be comfortable with the other animals. So when we're raising and really taking care of these ambassador animals, make sure that it's a safety issue. Right, John?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't, and we're not even just selecting by breed, we're selecting by individual animal. And the animal has to be here, be comfortable, be totally people-friendly and appropriate for handling before any guests are going to even know that the animal is here. And so some differences between our method and some other methods, I mean like specific just to sloths. And we don't do much talking about other places. We mainly just talk about ourselves. But if you look at some sloth encounters, you would see that they pull their sloth's teeth. We don't do that. We have friendly animals that like it, that like us, like other people, and genuinely enjoy human contact. If they don't enjoy it, they shouldn't be here. It's not fair to them, and it's not what we're trying to present for our guest encounters. Hey, while she is eating, some people don't know that sloths have ears. Let me show you where her ears are right here. So you can see that proportional to her head, her ears are just as big as people's ears are. That is where a sloth has its ears, and that is what their ears look like. But their ear, you might want to take a still of that because people ask that question so often. My phone's laying right there.
No,
you
you're
want to take a still with it.
You're good. We got it. Hey,
Their ears are really important. Their vision is really poor, so their hearing and their sense of smell are their primary ways that they experience the world. Obviously touch, then smell and hearing are the ways that they experience the world. Sight is on down the list for them. Their vision is terrible, but their sense of hearing is absolutely on point. Speaking about hearing, the sloth does know her name. If you've been watching this live, I mean even today for the last more than 30 minutes, you'll see that when we opened the door, the sloth was dead asleep because we weren't talking to her. She obviously could hear us outside, but she knew that we weren't talking to her. She does know her name. You saw when I stepped through the door and I said, Zoe, she just perked right up and was ready to come out and interact. But hearing is really important for them, and so is smell. So when you come here for an encounter, we ask you not to wear perfume, not to wear lotion, not to wear, and not for smell, but not to wear dangly jewelry, not to wear necklaces. And it's best that you wear something that, has a little something to be around your neck, because the sloths like to hang around your neck. And some people, particularly young people with, skin that's a lot more tender than mine, find that the claws can be a little bit sharp or pinchy, but they're not out to hurt you, just, they're holding on with their claws. That's the way they are. But, so yeah, if you come out for an encounter, and it says all of this when you sign up for your encounter, but just, a lot of people don't necessarily read everything when they sign up. So just putting it out there that if you come for an encounter, we ask that you please don't wear strong perfumes, body lotions, dangly jewelry, and be ready to be chill and calm and be like a sloth. You'll see that this sloth eats quite a bit of food. Sloths eat approximately 10% of their body weight every single day, and yet they go to the bathroom only once in 7 to 10 days. So if you're watching, you can look right now, the sloth is pretty wide through here, so probably not today, more likely tomorrow. This sloth will go to the bathroom. And then if you look the following day, she'll be basically almost cylindrical again. So they are building up a tremendous amount of food inside of them. Their food processes very slowly inside of them. They do metabolize the vast majority of what they eat. So when they go to the bathroom, they are going to lose 1/3 of their natural body mass. I had before weighed this sloth the night before she went to the bathroom in the morning after. She was 8.4 pounds the night before, 6.3 pounds the morning after, meaning that she eliminated 2.1 pounds, and that happens to be exactly 1/3 of 6.3. So I was surprised that it was just absolutely precisely exactly 1/3, but that is what they say is going to happen.
Hey Abby, the add-on for the sloth encounter. So the main sloth encounter is with Flash. So if you add on, that would be the cuddle session with Zoe here. So that's one way to do it too. So with the 3 sloths, and then the other one is with Dash. But if you want to experience everything, there's an event that we offer Monday through Thursday, and that's Sloth Keeper for the day. So you get to do all 3 encounters plus so much more. What do you need, John?
I was just
Napkin?
gonna say no,
Okay.
I'm fine. She has finished her breakfast and now she just wants to cuddle. So, you see, I'm not making this sloth climb up on me. I'm not even doing anything to encourage her. This is just where she likes to be. But now that she is climbed up, I'm gonna support her under the back end like this a little bit. Just give her a nice place to sit right there, and then she won't need to hold on with her hands. And she'll just basically lay around my neck. And now she's gonna give me a little kiss right there and be like, oh, thanks for the breakfast.
They want to know about what ages for each thing. Do you remember offhand?
I'm gonna say, look online.
Yes.
I know that Sloth Keeper for the day, to sign up as one person, you must be at least 18 years old. If you are, and you can sign up for 1 person or 2 people. The price is for up to 2. If you have 2 people, the second person needs to be above 13 years old. And then our other encounters, I'm going to refer you to online because there's different ages for different things.
Yes, each one will list it, and I'm pretty sure for Flash that it's 8, and then for Zoe that it's 10. I think that is correct, but again, don't hold our little small human brains to that. Consult the website because it's written down, and then that way that you know that that is the truth and that's the fact, and that's what you can rely on. Let's see. Does anybody else have any more questions? I think we might be.
It might be 6 and 8. I don't remember for sure. I want to say 6 years old for Flash and 8 years old for Zoe.
Yeah.
But again, just look online.
Right.
I don't remember. I should remember, but I don't.
You're right, Kimmers, and I said it backwards too. Kimmers and Spring Labs are moderators that help out a ton, so a lot of people are saying, do they have sloths? No, they don't. Well, they might have sloths, but I don't think they do. But they help out a lot, and they've been watching for a while. Kimmers has been watching for months, and I think she's probably tired of hearing my voice.
So I have time for 1 or 2 more questions, and then I have to move on because there are 125 animals on this farm to take care of.
Do they like rocking chairs?
We haven't used a rocking chair with a sloth, but I can imagine that they would, because in the wild they're up in the tops of the trees and there's a certain amount of the breeze that blows them. But I haven't put a rocking chair in here because if I was going to rock a sloth, I would rock very, very slowly. And some other people might get into a rocking chair and be a bit more exuberant than I think would be appropriate. So, haven't tried, short answer. There is a rocking chair up in the house. I would imagine that Donna has sat in a rocking chair with a sloth, but I haven't.
Yeah. Alright guys, John's getting ready to go do some other stuff. We'll try to follow him and see what all he's going to do, and we'll probably watch as he puts Zoe back. Oh, do they make any noises?
This sloth was almost named Oof. Had it been up to me, her name would have been Oof. But there already was an online name suggestion going on. And the reason why I wanted to name her Oof is when you go to put her down, she goes, Oof, Oof, which means, no, hold me. And Dash makes a sound and he goes, when he's like, when you go to put him down, he's like, no, hold me. And if you walk through the room and Dash isn't currently being held, it would, because he wants you to hold him. All right, I'm gonna put Zoe back in her bed, or let her climb where she wants to. There you go, sweetheart.
And that's it, guys. That's how Zoe climbs into bed. All right, let's move these out of the way. You can see how cool her enclosure is. All right.